So, there's this browser extension that's really popular called the CSGO Float Market Checker. This thing is linked to a well-known skins database, and one of the cool little features of it is that it highlights the best condition versions of any skin. Number 1 is gold, 2nd and 3rd is silver, and 4th and 5th are bronze. These skins are always very coveted by collectors, and that shiny little highlighter effect just adds to their allure. So you may be surprised to hear that some of them don't exist. For example, if you were to go looking for the best condition UMP fade in the game, the float.db database will give you a link to an account with a kitty cat profile picture that goes by the username Sparkles. But what you won't find is the UMP. It's not here, it's not anywhere. And that's not the only UMP fade that's registered with this Sparkles guy. He also has the 2nd best condition UMP fade on the database, and the 3rd, and the 4th, and the 5th, but you won't find these either. They just aren't here. In fact, if you go through the database, the best skin you'll actually be able to find is ranked number 16. So what happened to the other 15 skins? Well, 11 of them were last seen in the possession of this Sparkles character. And while I hate to say it, the police are not going to be finding these skins trapped in some cabin in the woods in 6 months' time. These skins are gone. Sparkles has murdered them, and these aren't isolated incidents. When it comes to skins, this Sparkles guy is a bit of a serial killer, and what he's doing to skins is going to have a massive long-term impact on things, and in this video, we are going to be taking a look at it. Let's get into things. So Sparkles is very well known for doing number 1 lowest float trade-up contracts. His profile even proudly lists off a bunch of his greatest hits. And these are just the ones he's hit. I mean, that Orb Gungnir was a 10% chance. You are going to miss trade-ups like that some of the time. A lot of the time, actually. If you look at the list, you'll see there are some very painful misses on it. This lightning strike was not a success. There's 16 trade-up videos with number 1 in the title on his channel over the last year, which means you're looking at a minimum of 160 low float skins being destroyed. And when you look at the impact this has had on skins as a whole, it is actually kind of huge. Certain trade-up inputs are particularly desirable when it comes to doing these crafts because it's easier to get them in good float values and they give you favourable odds when you do the trade-up contract. The problem is though they also tend to come from older cases, like this Desert Eagle Hypnotic you can see me unboxing here. But the problem the Hypnotic has is that the case I just opened it from cost me $100, and unlike me, most people aren't clinically insane, so this skin doesn't get opened much, which means when Sparkles uses them, they're kind of irreplaceable. If we go to float.db, you'll start noticing a suspicious number of cat profile pictures appearing in your feed. Follow the link and you'll find absolutely no trace of these skins left in Sparkles' inventory, and I don't think I need to tell you what's been happening to them. If we focus on the 20 best skins here, Sparkles has disappeared 8 of them, and a further 4 are completely missing anyway, suggesting that as much as 60% of these skins are completely gone. And if you start looking at other desirable inputs like the Serum or the Cold-Blooded or the Cobalt Disruption, a similar picture emerges. We'll focus on the Cold-Blooded. There is 128.0000x Cold-Bloodeds listed on float.db. These are exceptionally good trade-up inputs, and I counted 77 of them that have disappeared in Sparkles' inventory. I mean, look at this shit, it is fucking genocide. It's a similar story with the Serum as well. I didn't bother counting these, but I think the image speaks for itself, and there's an extra level of dark irony to this whole situation because a lot of these Cold-Bloodeds and Serums are actually being crafted by Sparkles himself for trade-up contracts. He's creating them just to destroy them. And for the time being, it is actually reasonably easy to keep on doing that. Even though the case they're from is old and expensive and not open very much, there are still a lot of old inputs still available, so you can still make Cold-Bloodeds and Serums that are very low float pretty easily, although it will still gradually get harder and harder to craft with them. We're just not there yet. But this isn't where Sparkles is actually doing most of his damage. It's really funny seeing this on the database, but this is not where he's really destroying things. You see, we're just looking at the filler in his trade-up contracts, the skins you don't want to get. these skins are just here to get the float value down. You don't actually want to get anything from their collections. But what about the actual meat? Take this Orb Gungnir attempt Sparklez did. There are 9 filler skins and a single Mjolnir, giving him a 10% chance of getting a Gungnir. Now, this Mjolnir is a skin that was only dropped during one operation over 4 years ago and is very likely to never be dropped again, which means there is a limit on how many can ever exist. And about these Mjolnirs, they're missing. Out of the 20 lowest float Gungnir's, you can track down exactly 2 of them. Now, Sparklez fingerprints are only on 3 of the missing skins, but the end result is the same. Most of the low float Mjolnirs are just gone, and without low float Mjolnirs, you can't trade up for low float Gungnir's. Once they're gone, the door to trading up for another number 1 lowest float Orb Gungnir is closed forever. And given Sparklez has already done that twice already, it's safe to say he's done a good job making it really difficult for anyone to ever beat him. And we've already looked at how Sparklez has destroyed the supply of low float UMP phase. This is a particularly spectacular example, and it's going to have the same effect on Gold Arabesque trade ups. It's really hard for anyone to ever beat his number 1 lowest float Gold Arabesque if literally every skin you need to do it is just fucking gone. And if we look at the inputs for the Desert Hydra, so the Fennec Fox and the Oxide Oasis, well, again, there's a lot of cat profile pictures here, isn't there? A lot of these skins are missing. The ones in Sparklez inventory are just gone, and a lot of the other ones are missing as well. And not only is this kind of like a skins genocide, it's creating a legacy. You see, skins are finite. There is only so many of most skins out there, and many of the really desirable ones are only ever created in limited numbers, like a single operation or something like that. And this puts limits on how low the wear of certain skins can ever really be. If you don't have the inputs to create an Orb Gungnir with 5 zeros in its float, it is never going to exist. And when Sparklez comes in and fucking annihilates the best available skins in trade-up contracts, well, that's kind of it. The skins that are being created are as good as it gets. You see, if you're determined enough, you can make sure that the skin you craft will probably be number 1 forever, or at least throw up really big barriers to anyone who ever tries to beat you, and that's kind of what Sparklez has done here. Does this serve a grand purpose in the story of humanity? No, but in a game that has such a long history and that will probably be around for years and years to come, this is a really interesting mark for someone to leave on it. Premier Elo might be fleeting, but float values on skins? Those are forever. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this video. If you've enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe. Otherwise, trust the numbers, not your gut. I'm Jesus. Thanks for watching. See ya.